Good morning, thanks. I was talking with Trevor before on the break, and I said, you know, I've been set up, all right? So, because Ashu comes and talks this morning and says this amazing vision and powerful vision, and then Laura comes and just mops this place up. I was watching her clock. She did that entire presentation and ended up with 2 seconds on the clock. Never rushed a sentence, never rushed a slide, and delivered what I thought to be some of the most powerful information. And I hope everyone in the room heard it. Trevor actually quoted Albert Einstein when he was doing a part of his announcements and stuff, and then Laura made some references. Well, I'm gonna quote Albert Einstein too. Albert Einstein said, if you can't explain it to a 5th grader, you don't understand it well enough yourself. And I think that's a powerful message when we're talking about making things simple and how we explain things. And I find that to be an intriguing proposition. I'm also going to quote another famous celebrity. I'm going to quote Liz Taylor, the actress, and what she said to her 8th husband, "I'm not going to keep you long." Okay, so let me just do a little bit of background. So I realized this morning when I was in my final prep, in the room today, there's really 2 groups of people. There's my new eGain friends, and everybody else that's not eGain. And I realized as I put this message together, I've got a message for both of you. And this aligned, Ashu, with what you were saying today. And the first ad hoc comment, I've already got Anand. He's already nervous because I'm off script and I haven't even got past the title slide. But there's a powerful message in here. How amazing and how powerful it is when we speak the same language. And think about that in a larger context of life. But here I came today because I'm a customer of eGain. And a happy one, by the way. Let me say that to all the non-eGain folks in the room, okay? But I'm a customer. But I heard what you've been listening to, and you've heard what we've been saying. And I would say to all of the first, all the new eGain friends in there, don't lose that, because we have a great message to you that helps you get into that dot in the upper right-hand quadrant as you're responding to us. And can I get a head nod out of everybody that's not eGain in here? Okay? Because if they're listening to us and they're leading us in that direction, we're going to be okay. And then I'm going to say to you that are the non-eGain folks, I started the journey on looking for an omni-channel platform so that I could go and reinvent the service experience at Compucom. I began with Compucom about 18 months ago. The very first email I got, when I got my corporate email account, day one, was, hey, Bill, we need to make a decision on this email and chat platform that we've been working since August of 2012. And they sent me a spreadsheet and had 3 vendors' names on it. And eGain's name was actually blotted out. The other 2 vendors on there, I go, okay, not really sure how this goes on day 1, minute 1, email number 1, but I don't know if I'm really qualified to make that judgment. Let's back up a little bit and let's talk about what are our business requirements, what are, you guys know the drill, right? I am so glad I didn't trash that email, because I'd have gone down a wrong path. We spent the right time to understand the business requirements. And what I'm going to talk to you today, in the time that I've got, is around how eGain is helping Compucom reinvent our service experience. Oh, let's see, I get to do this, don't I? And for you that don't know Compucom, which is okay, we are a managed service provider. We're an IT outsourcer, and I know I've got some comrades in the room from other IT outsourcing firms, and I'm good with that. And then there's also the blend of you that are the solo, what I call the solo single-threaded clients that say, I have a specific problem that I need to have. Well, let me tell you, our problem in this space is unique. And so as you've listened to what we've had to say, it's influencing the way that we actually engage with the industry and the market and our clients as well. So I'm going to talk about, I told Reese when I put my deck together, I'm keeping it real simple. By the way, I'm probably the only, other than AJ, who's from New Orleans, I'm from Shreveport, Louisiana. If you can't tell, I'm not from San Jose, okay? But I told, when I put my deck together, I'm going to keep it just like I would do this. I'm going to tell you, first I got 2 slides. I want to show you some insights around from my perch and what we're doing and what we're experiencing. And then I'm going to talk to you about, this was the problem I was actually trying to solve. This is the solution that I needed to solve that problem. How eGain was the answer to that solution to go fix that problem. What I'm expecting now and what I'm going to do next. Because in the life cycle of our business, that's how it all breaks down, right there, okay? First thing I want to talk about is just a couple of things. And some of this data, actually, the data that I'm presenting this morning is not data that I've harvested from Laura, but I hold tightly to a lot of what she's had to say. But it's a few touch points. 65% of this world of clients and this world of end users typically have more than one touch point, or they're looking for more than one, and then it may be up to 5 or 6 to engage us for the things that we have for them, okay? Less than 50%, here's an amazing space. I live in the B2B world. If you're an IT outsourcer, that's what you do. That's what we've been doing I was shanghaied into IT in 1989. I've been a prisoner ever since. For 25 years, I've lived in the B2B space. And only recently, in the last couple of years, has the light bulb gone off because the user's changing. So I can no longer try to respond in the B2B kind of world. So if I look at, well, what's the average customer satisfaction? And Laura, you showed a slide about ask the vendor what he thinks he's doing. He gives you a great big blue star and a big kiss on the forehead. Go ask the customer what they think you're doing, and you're down in the 40% range. Yeah. That's where we are. That's where we are as an industry. So the average customer rating in a B2B world is less than 50%, when out there in the consumer space, it's a lot higher. We have a lot of lessons to learn, and that's part of what my responsibility is to do. And then the last piece is this. I found this extremely intriguing because there is one piece of Compucom's world. We sell product as well. We're product neutral. We're vendor neutral. We sell IT products to our clients, okay? They shop at our sites that we've developed for them. That message right there says 50% of U.S. online shoppers will abandon you. They'll walk away from your product, and she has some better data than mine, but they'll walk away from you as a net story if you don't deliver to them. And all of those blue boxes that she talked about, they'll walk away from you. We don't survive if they walk away. You don't survive if they walk away. So this new multi-generational user, I struggle with what to call it. We hear the millennial, we hear all this stuff, but the reality of it is go look outside these walls, and in those businesses that we're dealing with, they're all over the generational spans. And we have to gear to the future, to the younger generation that's taking the industries forward. But equally important, especially now because the workforce is actually getting older, not actually younger, it's actually getting older, because the value of that first generation is staying with us because we need them. So this multi-generational customer experience is key to us, and especially it was for Compucom. A couple of things that I think, when I look into my fishbowl, and I look into the customers that we deal with, there's a couple things. that are driving the why I have to change where Compucom is headed in terms of service experience. First, the employees that we have today, they work differently than what they did 25 years ago. I mean, they work differently. I called them undocked. Everybody uses the M word, mobile, I got it. But they're undocked. They're undocked technically, emotionally, geographically. They're using multiple devices. They're doing corporate work and they're doing at-home work. But they are basically undocked. And we talked about the choice versus ease. I agree. Preference, that was my word for choice, has become the preference. But what I too am finding is that I can give clients choices all day long. Ultimately, what they want is get me there quick. Get me there and get it solved as quick as you can. The second insight is especially important to our particular world is that, watch this. I would have brought her up with me today if I could. This is Sally Snowflake. She's been with me for 25 years. Come here, Sally. Sally is an end user. Sally gets up in the morning, goes to work from 8 o'clock to 5. Well, actually, she goes from 8 to 7 now, right, because of the way we work, right? But then she goes and she expects something from her service provider. She's got an expectation that's set around how is she going to get help, how is she going to get support, how is she going to get product. And she basically has been force-fed to live through the B2B experience from 8 to 5. Sally goes home at night. Guess what? She lives a completely different experience. She's shopping on her phone. She's got all these devices and so much of what's been talked about. Well, in our space, we have to somehow erase that barrier and make it one contiguous service experience, and that's what we're about doing. Creating the always present presence, I'm going to step right over that. Basically, it just says, there's one thing about moving from channel to channel. And I wrote a note down, somebody said this morning, that every time you move from one channel to another, you have a 10% drop in loyalty. That's what Laura said, right? I'm going to keep that one, okay? But there's also venues, because in our space, we start with a portal. We go to our customer care centers. We have walk-up service, genius bars, solution cafes, as we call them, attempting to provide in that B2B world an experience that's unique for our kind of client base. I call it getting in the mind of the customer and not in the way of the customer. Someone said this morning, no, it was you, Ashu, that said, omni-channel not done well creates chaos. How true is that? So we've got to have that kind of capability, and that's what we're building. The whole persona activated, it really was not fair, me being here. I need to take this up with you guys. Okay, because everything I was going to say, Ashu basically took it. You got it. You took it from me. I know you did. The persona activated, understanding who our user is and proactively providing to that. We hear about that in the consumer space, but in the B2B world, that was an objective for us, but it seemed like it was on the horizon too far away. And finally, focusing on the customer journey versus the moment of truth, all MSPs will tell you this, and I am one. I've made a lifetime of sin of tracking, did I make that SLA? And get green stars and blue stars all day long and wake up one morning and go, how come my key doesn't fit the door of my customer anymore? Because we focused on the moment of truth and we ignored the whole customer journey piece. Okay? I'm going to give you a snapshot. This is data that you won't find out on the special. This is my data. This is our world. Let me explain this to you real quick. So, as I said, every day I'm a multi-client managed service provider. What that means to you is I've got a mess most of the time. Okay? Because every client that's come to us has said, I want it this way. We drive standards, but I want it this way. And they're coming across all the different vertical industries, and they've all got different service models. And they come to us, and they say, you support us. So we, like many, have a plethora of service centers, service desk centers. And let me explain what this chart looks like to you. If I count the total of non-voice contacts that are coming into our service desk centers, okay, email, chat, web, that's all we've had. And this is prior to us having eGain. We're still in the middle of our implementation, by the way. And I plot that on a scattergram. There's 67 clients on that, and that shows you the variance of what kind of service experience I've got to respond to. And then the other piece is the percentage of cases that we're creating every day around those multiple channels, what that looks like and how it varies from client to client. So I have the responsibility to try to understand how do we provide a solution that can support that type of environment. And by the way, we're completely standardized Cisco UCCE platform, and none of that has been integrated into my core Cisco platform. Go back to day one, email number one, okay? Here we go, okay. Here's an interesting chart. I want you to look at this one. So many data points have been set around it this morning. So, every morning, we show up at the call center, and we start taking calls. Actually, we never go home, right? We're 7 to 24. But when I look at the total number of non-voice contacts that are also arriving into our contact centers and our service desk centers, that was 2013, month over month, actual data. And what it suggests, somebody would ask me, oh, so you're seeing a decline in the call volume, right? Because alternate channel, channel hopping, whatever you want to call it, right? No. That's sitting on top of the inbound call volume. Laura made a comment about it, said, well, sometimes they're doing both, bad user, right? Sometimes they're doing both, but sometimes what we've got, really, is latent demand. And as soon as you give them an easier way to get there, they'll do that too. And they'll save that voice contact for something that's more complex, or in the possibility that they've not actually resolved it. So our whole strategy around implementing eGain for Compucom was around helping drive down this volume, right? The phone volume. I'm not anticipating that today. I'm on a mission to go make sure that service experience to our end customer becomes one it changes from B2B to B2C. And by offering this expanded channel capability, that's what I'm anticipating. So there's been no real decline in the voice content around this. So what solution fixes this for a beast such as Compucom, where we've got these multiple venues, multiple service models, multiple verticals, all of the different nuances? Well, I use this when I'm presenting our portfolio and where Compucom is headed, and I call this the Mobius principle and the Mobius concept. And basically, it's simply just a nice, pretty picture that says we've got to be able to extend to our clients through any device, any channel, any mechanism, all that we've heard this morning, all things Compucom through one seamless, traversable service experience, irrespective of where the venues are. I'm going to skip. I draw it like this. Sally, remember her? Sally starts in the morning and she has 3 choices to get to me. My preferred channel is that she would come through our portal capability, right? But she can just as easily walk into our solution cafe, or she could call the contact center, or migrate seamlessly across the 3 of them. We had no mechanism to do that efficiently. Efficiently is the one piece, but in such a way as that we didn't chase Sally away. Okay? So multiple venues, that's what we're creating and reinventing the service experience, the whole omni-channel piece, and creating that integrated model that allows us to do this. So why was eGain the solution for Bill Miller on day 2? Okay, email 2, okay? Well, number one, and we spent a lot of time working with the eGain team. When I pulled back the throttles and I put the skids on and I stopped, and I really, what would be the right way to say this? I really ticked off a lot of people when I did that, because it had been a lot of hard work that went into it before I got there, but we were headed down a decision that was not going to lead us to the future for Compucom. So I said I had to go back to this Mobius strategy and make sure that everybody in Compucom understood the vision. And then I brought those three partners, eGain, in it, and shared that vision. And I'm not one, I know this may shock you, I'm not real bashful, okay? It only took me about 15 minutes with eGain in the room, and I said, stop, let me do this again. And I went to the whiteboard, and I painted the picture of what I was actually trying to accomplish. And when I did that, the light bulb went off. And so eGain clearly understood in the B2B space, trying to move to the B2C space, what challenges that actually presented and how you would have to have this type of concept in order to achieve that. So that was bullet number one. Obviously, the native integration piece to the Cisco platform for us is huge. Okay, we've got actually challenges on it, but just because we've done it, but we're stepping over every one of those. But that was bullet number two. The email, this is what we bought. We bought the email, the chat, offers, social, co-browse, click to call. Now, I'll talk to this in the next slide if I'm lucky. Okay. But the ability to provide offers in a fully enabled life cycle environment such as Compucom, where we sell product, we configure it, we deliver it, we support it, we'll remote into it, and then we'll do asset life cycle retirement and redisposition, and then go sell. Okay, we own that entire life cycle for our clients. Think about it. The ability for Sally to engage that life cycle at any point along that path and have an offer that actually reaches into different organizations in our company. So the part that's actually doing the product procurement piece is a different organization. I needed offers to present when Sally is hung up on a page trying to buy this device or this bite, that the chat is going to open up, not with my call center guy, not with my service desk guy, but the guy that's supporting the procurement piece. But if Sally's sitting there trying to figure out I can't get my BlackBerry to sync to my whatever, I want her to be able to offer back to the customer care. And on. So that offers across the life cycle was big for us. And this whole unified omni-channel desktop, now I changed the title of that because Anand told me I had to do that. But what I'm looking for in my environment, and we're on a path jointly, by the way, to get there. Sorry, buddy. Is our agents handle it all. Now, we segment. We have some that are dedicated non-voice and some that are dedicated voice. Adam, it'd be the same way, right? But in our particular space, across the technology lifecycle, it's not uncommon for my agents to have to handle them all. And what I was looking to do was to create a single pane of glass, so that I'm not clicking in one tab for mail and one tab for chat. And we're on a path to get there, but it's not early in my roadmap, and I'm not urgent or pressed for it. But that was big. The whole preemptive knowledge piece. I wish I'd have met you before I got up here. I actually would. I wish I had. I should have. That's my bad. Okay. But the knowledge piece was key for us. Because if you think about that profile of customer that I have to support, 85 different 9 different verticals. The knowledge management piece that the managed service providers have to deal with, it's a unique beast for what you typically have to face. It really is. So the ability for Sally to submit a chat that comes into my box, but proactively parse that into a preemptive knowledge piece of push and send it back to Sally and go, now while you wait for Andy agent, okay, to be able to respond to that, here are the 3 solutions that we suggest that you have. Okay, that's huge and was huge for us. The integration with our self-service portal and the whole ITSM platform for us, I know that's a common requirement across all of you guys that are non-eGain, and I know you have that. And it's just a different flavor of that as you go from one environment to the next. But that's obviously something that we had to do. We're having to build those integrations, but we've got a platform that we know can accommodate that, okay, because of the core engineering, if you would, that's required to achieve that. Obviously, it did not hurt being as far in the northeast quadrant as you could get, okay? Unless they're going to build another box for you, you're going to enjoy a great place right there. And so that was certainly something that was appealing to us. And then lastly, I have to say this. I told him I wouldn't embarrass him, but the partnership that we have with our particular account team that's assigned to Compucom has gone through this whole process with us where I could be this honest and this transparent and Reese be this transparent back to me. And we've worked with your product teams, and we've worked with your professional services teams. And we're a team. We're all in together, and we're gonna achieve the things that we're after. Now I won't even actually implement the email and chat. Well, let me move on. I'll respond to it this way. So what do I expect now? I'm gonna talk about 2 things. And these must happen simultaneously, and this is what I'm expecting. I'm affecting not just the end users, my customers' experience, but as equally as important, my agents. Won't do that again, sorry. Okay. My agents' experience because of the kind of customer we have to support. So what eGain is allowing us to do is to enhance my multifaceted, multi-threaded, multi-burdened agent across a whole technology lifecycle and a vertical stack of a disparate customer base. Do you know that our agents, in some cases, have to touch anywhere between 12 to 15 screens to service one end user on one transaction? And eGain is an integral part of us to try to consolidate that into one or a fewer path around that, but ultimately, obviously, the goal is one. So improving that agent experience and obviously the overall productivity, because we do have the same cost levers and the cost drivers that everyone else in the room's actually got. Okay, but when you're reinventing service experience, you better be aware that boss is not going to give me a billion dollars to do that. I got to go make it work inside the budget, right? The other piece what am I expecting now is a patient implementation strategy, or what's commonly referred to as crawl, walk, jog, and run. Okay, that's how we're taking this, because I can't consume 85 disparate service models with a big bang theory. So we're on a path to go basically implement the core email and chat across a wave implementation strategy. We've taken our installed base and parsed it into the right chunks and the right pieces, and we worked with the programs to say, we're bringing this to you. We've actually demonstrated some of this to some of the prospects of our clients and say, you're going to be in the first wave. This is going to be the change to the user experience. This is what you should engage and what you should experience when you on the next step. So that the whole email, chat, and offers functionality first and by waves. The next piece we'll actually implement will be the true integration into the ITSM platform. There are those that would argue with me and say, well, boy, you're really giving up a key piece right off the bat, but we have to have a patient implementation strategy. We can't do all of this in just one big whoosh. And then the next piece will be the knowledge push for us. And that will actually have some challenges, if you would, in our kind of environment. But again, taking it a brick at a time and a box at a time, I believe is going to help us accomplish that. We're anticipating that it's going to take us 8 weeks to get to the wave 1. And I'm sorry, I said that wrong. You got 18 weeks to get it live, okay? Okay. But I will say this, the team is working. Our team and their team is just been a powerful dynamic. So, and then what am I going to do next? Okay. So if my wave 1 brings just the core technology, email chat. By the way, the dot chart that showed all the emails and voices, the non-voice coming in, we were managing that manually, looking at 25 different Microsoft Exchange boxes every moment, trying to manage that. We had technology that was out of support for the chat implementation that we had currently, and we were doing all of that again manually. So what I'm doing next is once we get the core email, chat, and offers stood up, all of our new opportunities and new client implementations will make that onto the core, and then we'll have obviously a migration strategy to move. This is basic block and tackling, I know, to all of you, but this is what you understand. Even in my space, we don't go do it all in one day. Okay, and then basically extending to the other features. I'm actually really looking forward to. Matter of fact, your announcement this morning about the partnership with Nuance. Nina is a friend of mine, okay? I'm really looking forward to having that type of capability in our service experience as well. And so the social, the click-to-call, the co-browse pieces that we've actually got, they're on my roadmap and our joint SOW to get deployed over the next life cycles of our products. And then where I end where I actually started, was around the knowledge management piece. 25 years in doing this. I started when I was 12. Okay. Knowledge to me, and I was talking to Kevin last night, knowledge to me is probably the thing that actually holds us in this room together today. Because at the end of the day, there's a need that someone has. You're building a bridge to get them to the supply that satisfies that need. And what literally resolves it is this evolving cosmic knowledge thing, right? And so all of us on the eGain badges and the non-eGain badges, this whole concept and this whole emphasis around the knowledge management piece, yeah, we started it 20 years ago, and it's coming even back and more into focus now, and rightfully so. Everything we do is going to need to be tied into that. So my closing is simple. I got invited here. I am really grateful that I had a chance to sit and listen to where you're headed and understand, Laura, how that all applies. Okay? And I know there's more following me. That's what eGain is doing for Compucom. And so I'm actually excited about creating this huge shift difference for us. So I am Bill Miller, Shreveport, Louisiana, Compucom Vice President, Service Experience Management. You're right, it's a mouthful. We call it SIM, okay? And I thank you for your time this morning.